Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Warriors Fastbreak on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. We'll start out this week talking women's basketball with head coach Scott Ballard, and let's talk about this weekend. You know, you just get back from the cold in Bemidji and Crookston, and it's kind of cold and snowy here, so not much of a change. But tell us a little bit about how things went this weekend.
Well, we split, which was disappointing because we had an exciting come-from-behind win Friday night against a good Crookston team. We were down 11 going to the fourth quarter and then exploded for 34 points in the fourth quarter. And that was a result of really good defense, getting a lot of stops, rebounds, got in transition. Emily Keek had a great game. But everybody that played in the fourth quarter played well. We played a lot of the fourth quarter with Emily Keek, Rachel Novotny, Taylor Husted, Sydney Lodemeyer, freshman, and Julia Sillaway. What had happened during the course of that game up until the fourth quarter is that Emily and Rachel were in early foul trouble every quarter. I think in the first quarter, Schaefer got a foul, Gabby got a foul, Taylor had a foul, Rachel, Emily. I mean, our bench played great. But they bought time for us to get out of foul trouble going into the fourth quarter. And then we've had a few instances this year where the fourth quarter was a downfall for us. But it was good to be on the other end of that for once, and we played really well the fourth quarter and finished well, and I think we outscored them 34-11. But as the game went along, we did a better job of defending their three-point shot and the things that they were doing to lead up to getting those looks. But you got to remember, they also have maybe the most athletic post player in the league, and whether it was Rachel or Taylor or Gabby or Emma, they all took turns denying her the ball, made her work really hard to get everything. She still ended up with 21, but she had to work really hard. And then probably the last 3-4 minutes of the fourth quarter, they were trying to get her a lot of touches, but her shots were short. And I think it was a result of how hard we made her work, the rest of the game. But then Saturday we go to Bemidji, and on paper you think, okay, mismatch. They've only won one conference game this year, but we told our team that they're dangerous. They're a lot like us in that they play good defense, but they have trouble scoring 60 points. And they won their first conference game the night before against Upper Iowa, and I was nervous that they would come out with a lot more energy and confidence than they had in a month, because it had been that long since they had won. And they did, and they hit 9 threes in the first half. We allowed them to beat us with some dribble drive penetration and then kick it to people on the perimeter that were hitting shots. 9.5 is an extremely lot. And we were down 8 at halftime. Third quarter was pretty much a push, and then the fourth quarter we made a run and got within 2 or 3 with like a minute to go, but then just could not catch them. And we had our opportunities. When the smoke cleared, we had 15 turnovers, which was the same as them, but they were able to score up some of our turnovers. And the big downfall was the fact that we missed 8 uncontested layups, that no contact whatsoever, and all we needed was 2 of those. And it's like, why have we missed easy shots at times? And all I can say is a combination of things: lack of confidence, lack of control, getting in a hurry, lack of focus. But it's something that we have to make sure doesn't happen as often as it did in that game and a couple other games we could have won if we'd have finished some bunnies.
Yeah, you kind of answered what my follow-up question was going to be, but there are things that have happened this season that have been strong points for you in the past. Free throw shooting, three-point shooting, just kind of overall from the field, and that's kind of slipped away this year. Is that kind of the simple answer as to why you think that's happened?
Our free throw shooting is really been good since we came back from Christmas. We're shooting like 78% as a team. But our three-point shooting has been down this year. Sometimes people just get off to a slow start, or they lose some confidence, or maybe it has something to do with the way they're being defended. But as a team, as a whole, we're shooting about 8 to 10% lower from three-point land than we did a year ago. So as a result of that, we've been trying to get closer shots. And against Bemidji, we had 28 shots that were inside 5 feet. That is a lot. And we made 11. So that's a lot of misses. But, our shot selection is good. We have to focus and be mentally tougher and finish better and not let some of those easy scoring opportunities get away from us. But, we got fouled on a few that weren't called, and I think that led to us rushing and expecting contact when it wasn't there, and then it caused us not to finish. But, our league is crazy this year. I mean, there are upsets all over the place. Other than Moorhead, who's, not lost a conference game yet. They've had a lot of close calls. But, Southwest, who we play on Friday this week, they've beaten Sioux Falls, they've beaten Augie, they've beaten Mary, and then they've lost to some teams that you expect them to win. So it's all over the place. You got to be ready to play every night, whether you're at home or on the road, and we have to become more consistent offensively than what we've been. Our defense is pretty solid.
Well, about a minute left in the segment. You mentioned Southwest comes into town this week, and then Sioux Falls. How much does it matter that you're playing at home this weekend instead of long road trips that you had the past 2 weekends?
Well, I think playing at home is nice because you get to sleep in your own bed, and you have a lot more people there cheering for you, so the energy level is in your favor. But, it's like we tell our team, that's the extent of the advantage of being at home. The rest of it comes down to execution and performance. And so, that's what we're going to focus on.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, Kayla Schaefer will join us. That's right after this.
Don't miss out on highlights and score updates from your favorite local college and high school athletics by following HBC TV 25 Sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get up-to-date information on all the games covered by the HBC sports team. Grab your smartphone and add us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HBC TV 25 Sports.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Kayla Schaefer now joins us. Thanks for coming back here. You heard what Coach had to say about the weekend, about the comeback against Crookston and then going into Bemidji. Talk about both of those games, having to come back from deficits. What are kind of your thoughts during the game as it's going on, as you see the total kind of mount up and then you figure what you have to do to get back into these games?
Yeah, well, Friday, we've been kind of struggling with, finishing our fourth quarter performances, and Friday was awesome. It was so fun to be a part of. That we were down by 11, and that's quite a bit to come back in one quarter. And then not only, we outscored them by a lot too. So that was fun to see. And I don't think I really played that much in the fourth quarter, which I was I mean, that is what it is. Though, I mean, some of the younger players stepped up, which is huge, and it's fun to see being a senior for them to get their opportunity and come through. I know like Sydney Lodemeyer, she brings a bunch of energy to her team, and Keeks had a great performance that night, which was also fun to see. And then Saturday was kind of a disappointing loss. We tried coming back in the fourth quarter, but we came up short, and we just need to come out more focused and try having the mentality we had Fridays during the fourth quarter and try having that consistently throughout the entire game. And I think that can really help win us some tough games.
All right, we talked about the road trips, and I like to ask because everybody seems to be different. How do you handle 5-6 hour road trips to away games?
Well, I actually get car sick easily, so I try sleeping a lot, just laying down. I like listening to music. I can't be on my phone a lot because I get more sick normally, so I just try sleeping goes the fastest, or sometimes I watch Netflix. Coach always plays movies.
You don't like my movies?
Well, depends on the movies. Some of his movies are good. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't say, yeah, just trying to make the time go by as fast as possible.
All right, so what was on the playlist this weekend then?
Oh, we had some good movies. You remember any of them?
Well, I think I slept pretty much the whole way to Crookston, so.
Okay.
I like inspirational movies,
Yeah.
and sometimes it involves, some sporting event, and other times it's some, family type situation. But they have the option of watching them or, Netflix on their own laptop. So we just go with the flow.
All right. Well, as you mentioned, your senior season. So what is your major at Winona State, and what do you plan to do once you graduate?
My major is accounting, and I'll graduate here in spring, and then I plan to go back home and work with my dad and sister on our family farm. And I will be taking over some of the office work with like the accounting part, and then also doing like field work, any other things, working with the cows some there too. So.
Okay, and then does basketball have any part of your future? Because I know that one of the first times that we talked to you, you had been involved in like some youth things back home. Does basketball or any sport, because I think you played other sports too, does that have any part in your future?
I think so. I'm not really sure how my work schedule will be, so I think I'm going to kind of maybe lay low in the beginning, but I would love to be able to help, with my high school or my cousin Justin. The past couple summers I've helped with him. He always puts on a camp back home, so I've helped with that. So something similar like that, or maybe just coming in maybe a couple times a week to help with the high school team. Stuff like that is hopefully what I can do to give back.
All right, just about a minute here, so last question. Some of your favorite memories here at Winona State. If you had to pick one memory, what would that be for you?
Well, this year, honestly, Crookston, that game was, to have a come from behind victory like that, it was just so much fun, and the coaches were watching videos and like sending them to us about us cheering on the bench and the people playing there cheering. I think that would be probably one of the best wins this year that I can remember.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, we'll talk men's basketball with head coach Todd Eisner. That's right after this.
Kelmus Implement Company is an agricultural equipment dealership. Back in 2016, when HBC brought fiber optics to Altura, we saw a huge benefit in internet speeds over previous providers. With our vendors requiring real-time communications with our inventory and parts books, the internet speed has given us an advantage over our competition. I would recommend HBC's products because HBC has helped Kelmus Implement grow.
Contact HBC about our lightning-fast home and business internet connections today.
Sledhead 24/7. If it happens on the snow, find it here first. Snowmobile destinations, sled evaluations, lifestyles, aftermarket and product reviews, highlighting all aspects of racing, and get the inside coverage on the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross. Sledhead 24/7, where we are everything snowmobile.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Time now to switch to men's basketball. Head coach Todd Eisner is with us. Thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about this weekend. Crookston, you had to come back from 18 points in that game, and weren't quite able to do it. 80-66 was the final against Crookston. Tell us about that game. I know Kevion Taylor had a really good game. Other players had a really good game. What happened during that?
Yeah, really slow start. Really at both ends of the floor, been kind of similar to what we've been doing. Didn't defend really very well. And Knickerbocker for Crookston is averaging 9 points a game. Ended up with 30. Anytime that happens, you're probably behind the 8 ball a little bit. They've already got the top scorer in the league in Harrison Cleary, or one of the top scorers in the league, and thought we did a pretty decent job on him. And then we just didn't do our job on some of the other players. And like I said, when you're down 18 at the half, puts you in a really tough spot. We did cut it to 7 3 different times, including twice in the last 5 minutes, and just couldn't get a key basket or a key stop in that time frame to put a little more pressure on them and give us a realistic chance. So tough way to start the weekend.
So give us an idea of your kind of coaching mindset going into a game, because obviously you talked about Cleary having a good season, and you did hold him to just 6 points in the first half. So are you keying in on him specifically, and then that just leaves things open for somebody else? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly going to be very aware of him. Obviously, he's capable of getting 30 to 40, and he's done it to other teams in our league. So, he was going to be a focal point of what we were doing, but we didn't really change up a whole lot of how we defend. I thought Caleb, for the most part, was on him a majority of the game and did a really nice job on him. But at the end of the day, we just didn't do our job on some of the other guys, and that's what makes them effective. Is that when you do key on somebody, it does open up opportunities for other players on their team, and you got to make sure that. And I talked to Coach Malvick before this. I said the big key will be somebody else can't, or more than one guy can't have a really good game for them if we expect to win, and that's unfortunately what happened to us.
One of the things that you've been talking about all season was just kind of offensive struggles, and again, that kind of happened shooting below 40% during that game. What are some things that you do during practice to try to work on that and try to get those shooting percentages back up?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, part of the issue is a little bit, and it's no fault of anybody, but our second unit per se on our roster right now is made up of red shirts and mostly freshmen. And so it's really challenging for them to put themselves in a position to be like another college team, whether it's individual players or just being ready to play on a daily basis at the college level. So I think we've at times got a little false sense of security in that we've had good practices, we've executed well, but we're playing against guys that probably aren't quite ready for significant roles at the college level at this point in their careers. And like I said, that's no fault of their own, but the matchups that we have in practice aren't quite the same as the matchups we get in games. Then we get into games and the execution isn't quite as easy. We're not getting quite the same looks, and we haven't been anywhere near as efficient as we needed to be.
So you do try to role play in practice a little bit?
Oh, no question about it. We'll have, even today as we get it ready for Southwest and Sioux Falls, I mean, we'll have a 15-minute segment where we're guarding Sioux Falls sets. We'll have another 15-minute segment where we're guarding Southwest sets. We're going to work against what Southwest is going to do, as we've seen on film, from an offensive standpoint, so that we'll be ready to go against their zone or their press. They're switching man-to-man. So we'll spend Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of every week doing the best we can to be Sioux Falls or be Southwest and give us the best preparation possible.
Do you find that it helps your freshmen and your younger players to learn all these different types of offenses? Does that help them develop into better college players, because not only have they seen these kind of plays, they've tried to be those kind of plays when they're kind of the scout team? Yeah,
it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. It's a tough responsibility. We don't have the staffing as you do at the higher levels, where you may have on a Division I team, you may have 5 or 6 guys that only do that, and a coach will take them a half hour before every practice and run through their actions. I mean, right now we're dealing with 12 players right now, just with some injuries and not having a full roster. So they've got to know our stuff. We've got to get them reps at our stuff because they're going to play. Yet we've got to put them in a position where we can draw something up quick and they can run Southwest stuff or Sioux Falls stuff today as best they can. Where they get a little confused at times is we may hard hedge a screen and Sioux Falls may flat hedge a screen, and they get live action and they mix up what we're doing versus what Sioux Falls is doing and breaks us down, and gets very frustrating for them. It gets very frustrating for us. We just have to do a good job as best we can of trying to be Sioux Falls over 10-minute segments or 15-minute segments, whether it's on offense or defense.
All right, let's move on to something maybe a little bit better and talk about Bemidji State. It was 87-59. Again, we talked about Kevion Taylor. He scored 25 the night before 32 against Bemidji, and that kind of helped you to get to the win.
Yeah, Kevion's playing very well for us. He really took over this game, and we needed him to. We struggled again in the first half. We were down 2 at the half. Bemidji had not shot the ball terribly well from the 3, and yet made 10 threes against us in the first half. And we were just, we talked all year long, because we haven't defended the 3 very well, of being 6 inches closer and 6 inches higher on our closeouts. And that was a game where we weren't. We were giving a guy just enough space to get a shot off, and we let some guys get free. And like I said, next thing you know, we're down 38-36 and giving up, 30 of their 38 points came from the arc. Our guys did a really nice job in the second half of playing with a little more energy, playing with a little more urgency, defended much better. We gave up 1 3 through the first 19 minutes, and then they hit 2 threes in the last minute when the game was over. But we did a really nice job of adjusting on the defensive end. And then it flips over, and we were really good on the offensive end in the second half also. So, it's really become a theme, unfortunately, at 4-8. The 4 games that we have been really efficient and scored the ball well and shot a high percentage and made a lot of threes, we won. And the games that we haven't done that at a very good level, we put ourselves behind the 8 ball.
All right, as we said, Southwest and Sioux Falls come into McCowan Gym this weekend for games. We asked Coach Ballard this question. For you, first home game in probably about a month, I think, after 2 weekends on the road. What does it mean to you to finally be playing at home for a weekend?
Yeah, it's always good to be at home. We hope that the students will get out on Friday and or Saturday and support us. They've been, when they've been on campus, it's been good. We've had some tough stretches of schedule where we've been playing some home games, either last year or this year, where they haven't been on campus. And so anytime we can get the students involved in what we're doing, that's a good thing. But it's always good to play at home. That being said, we haven't played well at home. So, we've got a better record in the league right now on the road than we do at home. We've given away 2 weekends, and it's up to us now to kind of flip that around here at the end of the season in the last 5 weeks and do a better job at home.
And then last question here before the end of the segment. You mentioned injury problems. Again, Mason Domask was out for a little bit during practice. How is the health of the team coming into this weekend?
Alec Rosner more than likely still going to be out. We actually took him in for an x-ray yesterday, worried that there might have been a slight break in the ankle. Thankfully there wasn't, but they still think it'll be a week, maybe 2 weeks before he's back playing. Hopefully we can speed up that process, but he will not be available as far as I know going into this weekend. And then we've got just the usual stuff. So I don't think we'll be missing anybody else. Keep our fingers crossed. The HBC curse will not hit us between now and Friday, and we'll be able to put the squad that we need and have at this time ready to go.
Well, we feel bad about what's happened this season with everybody that's come on the show, and again, we thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'd rather have it be me get injured.
Oh, jeez. Let's take a break here in Warriors Fast Break. Caleb Wagner will be joining us right after this.
Stay up to date with Winona Area Public Schools by watching Making the Grade here on HBC TV 25, presented by Cost Cutters. Join me, Superintendent Rich Dahman, each month for interviews with administrators, district staff, and students. Tune in to Making the Grade Monday through Friday here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, located in the professional building in the Winona Mall Annex.
Wondering where to go to find great old movies? Look no further than HBC TV 25. Each week, TV 25 presents the HBC movie, and we won't monkey around. We'll show movies like Night of the Living Dead, Giant Gila Monster, The Fat Spy, Angel and the Bad Man, and others. Join us mornings at 2 a.m., and for those of you with better sleeping habits, Saturday afternoon at 2 for the HBC movie.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Caleb Wagner now joins us, and thanks for coming in and tempting the HBC curse, as Coach Eisner would say. Thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about this weekend. Coach, you heard what Coach Eisner said about the games against Crookston and Bemidji. From your perspective, what were those games like this weekend?
Kind of like Coach said, but both were kind of slow starts, and especially defensively. I mean, with Crookston getting down big early is tough, and having to rally back, which we did, but just couldn't get everything all together to get it back within 1 or 2 possessions. And then with Bemidji, kind of the same thing. I mean, we gave up 10 threes, and like Coach said, 6 inches closer, 6 inches higher. So, I mean, once we figured that out in the second half, the offense got going, and they really couldn't get much on offense, or their offense. So we got to turn it around in the second half, but Crookston, we just got behind too far and couldn't make it up.
As we said, that's kind of been the story of the season. There's been times where everything's working right for you guys and times where things don't work. So from the player perspective, I mean, what is that like to have, you know, things not work that have worked all season, or all of a sudden your shot's not there? I mean, what is that like?
I mean, it's tough, but you just have to battle through it. I mean, coach's big thing is if your shots aren't going in, affect the game in another way. And I mean, personally, when my shots aren't going in, he keeps on me about that and affect the game the other way. And I think, especially in the Bemidji game, I did a good job doing that with just being rebounding and defensively kind of like helping everybody out and then keeping your own assignment and staying in front of your guy. But I mean, the struggles are hard, but you just have to push through it in practice, get extra shots up, and hopefully with confidence you come around and start shooting the way you know you can again.
Do you have any certain things that you do during practice or maybe even off practice times to try to correct something that may have gone wrong during a game week?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we watch film on all the games we play, so you see what you do wrong, and then kind of in practice you got to focus on that and focus on the things you did wrong and try to make those or try to fix those, and then the things that you're doing right, hopefully keep doing them right and keep practicing them and staying on it.
All right, I was reading the wrap-up of the Crookston game, and you were on the free throw line towards the end of the game with kind of time winding down and trying to make some key shots. From the inside of your mind, when you have those type of situations, what is going through your mind? Is anything going through your mind when you're trying to take those clutch free throws?
Yeah, I think we were down 9 at the time, and that was going to put it to 7. And I mean, you're on the free throw line, and I mean, what I was thinking is, like, let's get this game to 7 and just be confident. And I was thinking in my head, I'm going to make both these, and we need to get a stop right after. So just being confident and knowing the situation, and we were down 7. So if we needed to stop right there to bring it into a 2-possession game with 5, which would have been huge, which we ended up not getting. But I mean, you just have to stay confident and know the situation.
All right. So it sounds like one of your main responsibilities is to guard the other team's top player. What is that responsibility like for you?
Oh, I like the challenge. I mean, every week knowing that you're guarding one of the best players, if not the best player on the court, I mean, it really makes you get going more. I mean, you should get yourself going, obviously, every game, no matter who you're guarding, but especially when you're guarding the best player, you know you got to be ready, you got to be right away, you got to be energized from the jump, talking, making sure everyone knows what they're doing on defense. So, I mean, I like the challenge, and I hope that it keeps coming.
All right, and what is it that you see in Caleb that gives you the confidence to put him against the top players?
Well, he's a fighter. He's competitive. Sometimes almost to his detriment, you know. And but I you know, you never have to worry about Caleb in terms of his work ethic and his fight. And so, you know, we had Harrison Cleary last Friday. He's going to have Ryan Brigham on this Friday. He's going to have Evans probably on Saturday. So he will get the top 3 scorers in the league in NSIC games over the last weekend and this weekend. So, like I said, he did a really nice job on Cleary, and you know, he's going to have his hands full again this weekend with 2 different type of challenges. But Ryan Brigham is playing as well as anybody in the league, and I know Caleb will be ready for the challenge and be ready to fight him for 40 minutes.
All right, last question. What's the key to getting 2 wins this weekend?
Defense. Got to get stops, keep teams under the field goal percentage that they're at. Hopefully, make them shoot less threes. Can't have 10 threes in the first half again against either of these teams. So just defensive efficiency and offensive efficiency.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in this week, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here on Warriors Fast Break. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.